Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, rather, depending on where you are. I hope I'm audible, loud and clear. Welcome all welcome everyone, and for having taking time off of your busy schedules and joining us in today's webinar on hybrid composites. Okay, I mean, today's webinar, as you know, is on hybrid composites in association with ASAC. This is jointly being organized in association with GKTITR at Coimbatore. So, I mean, to begin with, let me hand it over to Dr. Balmurugan to take it over.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's a great privilege and honor for me as director of GKTITR to welcome all the business delegates, the great scientists, academicians, research scholars, and students from all over the world to the international webinar on high performance hybrid composites for future generation, aviation, space, defense, and domestic application. I appreciate your interest in joining this webinar, even during this pandemic time. We'll be starting this webinar shortly. Meanwhile, let me take this opportunity to introduce our institute, GKTITR. GKT Institute for Technological Resources as a unit of GKT Charity Trust. It was established by late Cavalier, Dr. Jayavardhana Velu, former chairman of LMW, Lakshmi Machine Works. For the first time in our country, GKTITR in tie-up with Tata Institute of Social Science and Alagappa, Category 1 Indian universities for commence university model degree level technological skill development program in NSQF level 5, 6, and 7 in the domain of manufacturing technology, automation technology, and foundry technology. This vocational education model is a very unique training methodology followed in German, and we were remodified this context to our Indian educational environment. This program is implemented for the first time in our country with a focus on job-specific skills. Here, the aim is to enable our students to learn the skills by judicious method of theoretical training with the on-the-job training at the shop floors of our Indian industries. The program operates on the basis of earn by learn model. This model allows our trainees to earn decent stipend during their on-the-job training duration of the course. Our trainees were exposed to the best Indian industrial practices like lean manufacturing, fibers, TPM, TQM, and occupational health and safety, etc. At present, there are 977 trainees undergoing this program, Bachelor of Vocational Education program. The OJT on-the-job training is imparted at various leading industries like Texmo and Titan Watchcase, Titan Weaver, Bimetal Bearing, Ashok Leyland, Jamuna Auto Components, and LMW. Moreover, GKTITR is FANUC India Certified Training Institution for training CNC robot, and also GKTITR is Festo Certified Certification Institution for conducting Industry 4.0 and processes. We are proud to say that GKTITR is offering Aerospace Certification Program in association with Aerospace Sector Skill Council India to meet aerospace Indian industry requirements. Over 80,000 trainees from GKTITR have secured job in prestigious companies in India as well as in abroad. It's my privilege to extend my hearty welcome to our beloved Wing Commander Rajit Bhatnagar, CEO of Aerospace Sector Skill Council of India, and our speaker of this webinar, Dr. Santanu Bauri. Going forward, to meet the aerospace industry requirement, GKD-ITR and the Aerospace Sector Skill Council is planning to launch degree-level work-integrated training program on aerospace technology, which will be the first of its kind of in our country. Once again, I thank you all very much and wish you all an enjoyable and successful webinar. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Balamurugan, for the note. Let me take the privilege of introducing our panelist here, who will again brief us after I introduce him, Wing Commander Rachit Bhatnagar. So allow me a moment. Yeah. Wing Commander Rachit Bhatnagar, ex-wing commander, of course, was commissioned into Indian Air Force in the year 1994 after he graduated as a mechanical engineer from NIT Surathkal, Karnataka. He served Indian Air Force in Aeronautical Engineering Department for over 2 decades. During his service in IAF, he has spearheaded many projects for innovative helicopter MRO methods, indigenous aircraft component manufacturing, accident investigation, rescue missions, beside training and upskilling programs for the Indian Air Force engineers. He has served in all India pan-India locations, including the inhospitable Ladakh region. He was also deputed to Namibia for 2 years for upskilling the defense forces in helicopter MRO. He's presently heading the Aerospace and Aviation Sector Skill Council, which is working under the aegis of NSDC as the CEO of ASSC. His focus areas are the development of skilling standards for airline, airport operations, maintenance, repair and overhaul, aerospace design and development, aerospace manufacturing and assembly, and drone operation. So I'll, without much further delay, I'll hand it over to Wing Commander Rachit Bhatnagar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Chetan. I hope I am audible and visible to all. Am I?
One moment. Yeah, you should now be.
Okay. Am I audible, visible?
Yeah, you should now be, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, fine. So thank you so much, my colleague Chetan, for introducing me on my brief profile as an Indian Air Force and taking over ASSC. So, and I also, first of all, namaskara and everybody out here, good evening. All the esteemed my fellow panelists, and also all the national international audience who have taken the time off to join this webinar, very prestigious webinar from GKD ITR. I would take very briefly to give an overview of Aerospace and Aviation Sector Skill Council. Before that, I also want to thank you, for this great association we are forming with Dr. Balamurugan of GKD ITR and my fellow panelist, Dr. Shantanu. Just going through, we are basically a Section 8 company, which was formed 4 to 5 years back as a Section 8 no-profit company under the aegis of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and the program implementation agency called National Skill Development Corporation. So we are one of the 36 sector skill councils present in the awarding body for various kind of industry-driven skilling requirement. So we are the pioneer in the aerospace and aviation skilling, and we are found as a company, the major promoter being HAL, which is as you know the largest aerospace concern defense PSC present in India right now, and also with a further 50% stake from the Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce and CIT, institute and a society called Society of Indian Aerospace and Technologies and Industries. So with this, our mandate was to connect the complete ecosystem of skilling, which would involve the industry requirements, the government, the workforce, of course, and the training providers. So we work, in an ecosystem where we have empaneled and accredited training partners, and under them the training centers. For that, we have nearly 84 training centers right now, which are giving skilling pan-India in both the aviation and the aerospace job roles. And we are present in the complete ecosystem of, I would say, cutting across airline subsector, airport subsector, the maintenance, repair, and overall design development, and of course, the manufacturing and assembly. We have at least 23 job roles under manufacturing and assembly, and one of them is aerospace composites also, for which Dr. Balamurkan has told we'll be doing some kind of collaboration for developing work integration training programs. We're also entering looking at various futuristic job roles under Industry 4.0 and also drone technologies, especially in the multi-rotor drone ecosystem. So we have presently certified. We are basically a awarding body. We don't immediately train, but we work, like I told you, through a network of accredited training partners. So we have certified, I would say, more than 16,000 candidates in both the short-term skilling ecosystem and as well as in the recognition of prior learning, which is another facet of skilling domain, in which we do the we certify the the employees who have already got a plethora of experience behind them, and so we do the assessments and align them with the national skill qualification framework, so that they have diversified or increased scope for further formal employment into the PSUs and other major concerns. So with this, I think so we have developed various. Our mandate is also to do a lot of training of trainer programs, to develop the center of excellence, to develop the training SSL academies, and so with this, for this, we do collaboration with various foreign and international institutes also, and do both the offline and online training of trainer programs. So presently, we are also doing we take on a lot of PMKVY programs, Prime Minister Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, under which we have short-term training ecosystem, we have RPL, recognition of prior learning, special projects, and also fee-based training programs. So with this, I think like I already have, I will not take much time into the main topic out here. So I will straight away, and will hand over my mentor to Dr. Balamurkan and Dr. Shantanu, who are the main speakers for today. And I'm very sure we'll be taking this association forward in a very fruitful manner, and we'll be having long associations, and we'll be able to assess and certify a lot of people from this institute who are passing out, and do a lot of courses in collaboration. So thank you so much for giving me time, and Jai Hind. Over to you, Chetan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the note and your words. Before we move on to Dr. Shantanu, who will deliver the talk for today's webinar, I would like to introduce him. I will try and do justice to his impressive CV in a brief introduction of his, or one-pager introduction, if I can call it so. So allow me a moment. I hope the screen is now visible. Yeah, Dr. Shantanu Bhowmick, who will actually deliver the talk today on the hybrid composites, is the head of research and projects at School of Engineering and professor at Department of Aerospace Engineering at Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham at Coimbatore in India. He is also the adjunct professor at Center for Future Materials, University of Southern Queensland in Australia. Going back to his academics, he's received his PhD degree, PhD postgraduate degree from the prestigious IIT Roorkee. He's won various, or rather, he's been honored with various awards, both national and international, some of which I will briefly mention. Leadership and Excellence Award of UNESCO, Center for Peace for delivering an invited presentation, International Scientific Exchange Award of Swiss National Science Foundation by the federal government of Switzerland in 2018, Research Award of Swiss National Science Foundation of the federal government in 2016 again, going back then again, awarded the Acharya Prafulla Chandra Research Award by the Institute of Palmacare in Calcutta in 2017. So that's some of the awards which I would like to mention. He's published over 150 research articles in the subject of polymeric composites, nanocomposites, adhesive bonding, and surface engineering related to aviation, space, and nuclear applications in various journals, both national and international. He happens to be an executive member of Asian Polymer Association, a member of American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics, European Society of Composite Materials, notably a few prestigious memberships he holds amongst various others. So over to you, Dr. Shantanu Bhowmick.
Yeah, good afternoon to all. So I'll be giving a presentation, so around half an hour, and then I'll be showing the tested samples to all of you. And thereafter, whatever the questions, they'll be most welcome. I believe the presentation is visible. Presentation. It is visible to all, I believe.
Yeah, Dr. Chandra, it's visible.
Right. Okay. So high performance hybrid composite, the game changer for aviation, space, nuclear, and defense, and of course with the domestic. As we, it's a patent filed, and I'm giving step by step with the full information. Second slide. It was in 1893. Then Swami Vivekananda was traveling towards US, and while going, he met Jamshedji Tata. And then Vivekananda clearly informed him that if India like to become a strong and developed country, we must do research on materials, and we should have our own manufacturing hub. So it was the vision of Swami Vivekananda. It was in 1893. Just imagine, almost 130 years before. And Tata was so influenced by his personality and the knowledge. And then when Tata came back, then first he had with the Tata Steel Company in Jamshedpur, and then he also made the research institute in Bangalore, which is called IISc Bangalore later. And that was the vision of Vivekananda, and the Tata was taking this forward. Then I must say about our institute. So Amrita is just 17 years old university. According to Times Education ranking of 2020, it stands along with the IIT. So it is top 10 in the India. So that you can see that just in 17 years of time that it has reached that huge milestone. Now the motivation of this work. We are living in a safe country with a comfortable life because of sacrifice of Indian Army, Indian Navy, Indian Air Force, Border Security Force, then CRPF, Indo-Tibetan Border Police. So it is a responsibility to support them with our knowledge and technology. This is my own survey. I went to the Indian Army to the border, in the India-China border, which was around, I think around 16 to 18,000 kilometers of the feet of the altitude. And on that time, I think there was also from the LMW, also there were people came, from LNT also people came. So we have seen the reality there. So what is the problem in that particular terrain? So our survey says that we require a strong technology because the other part is China. they are developing in a very highest pace. So we have to cope up with them. And so therefore, we have given a salute technology for our defense forces, trying to give that one. So now I'm giving this particular research objectives, keeping this not important. We have developed very recently that polymer called polyaryl ether ketone. This particular polymer is Indian polymer. It is been the raw materials is manufactured by the Garda Chemicals Limited in Mumbai. It's Indian material, and the PBO fabric we taken from that one company from Toyoba from Japan. And this is the form of fabric and the film. Okay, so that high temperature PBO fiber and high temperature polymeric film, the peak film from the Garda Chemical Limited from Mumbai. Then the advantage is that if you have this particular polymer, you can keep in the room temperature for even 100 years. Whereas if you have the epoxy carbon fiber prepreg, you have to store at minus 18 degrees Celsius, and that can have a maximum life of 6 months. So the first advantage is that one in the film form, you can keep in a storage in a room temperature, and the second thing is that it will have a longer life. Then another very important point, the load extension graph of this particular polymer called polyaryl ether ketone, or in the brief it's a PEK. So PEK, if you say the stress strain diagram, it can even enlarge up to 140%, but if you have epoxy, it will not more than 2 or 3%. So it will have a huge toughness, the energy absorbance of this particular polymer. Then what we do, we have kept 3 layers of polymer, 1 layer of PBO, that fabric, again 3 layers of polymer, 1 layer of PBO, again 3 layers of polymer, and 1 layer of particular fabric. If we stack say 20 times, then 20 times we have made this one. Then another one we did that we made silicon foam outside, then boron carbide the next layer, again the third layer is silicon foam, and again that final layer is 60 layers of PEEK and PBO composite. So what is the benefit of this? So then this is not important. Yeah. So we have made this very significant composite with the PEEK PBO fiber composite, and this was tested under 9 mm bullet with a speed of 430 meter per second. And you can see that this has also been tested with the AK-47 with 712 meter per second, and with a hard steel bullet. So which is most important, and distance between that test for your for the muzzle to that testing board, which is 10 meter only, 10 meter, with a test speed of 712 meter per second. I personally tested this one in an institute called in Gandhinagar. It's a Ministry of Home, so it's certified institute, and then we tested, and now seeing the results here. See here that when you have tested 9 mm bullet, all the bullets have been stopped. And this particular composite we have dedicated as a Netaji Subhas armor. The liberator of India, Netaji Subhas armor, we have given this name. And you can see the back side, all the bullets have been stopped with a back facing not even 20 millimeter. So for the Indian standard, it can be back facing up to 25 millimeter. International standard can go up to 45 millimeter. So you can see that the bullet we fired with a 9 mm bullet, the 5 meter distance, and all the bullets have been stopped. Next, if you come to the AK-47 that trial, again the Netaji Subhas armor, hybrid composite, and in this time the test speed was 712 meter per second, 712 meter per second. The hard steel bullet, again all the bullets have been stopped, and you can see the back facing is hardly 15 to 20 millimeter. So nothing will happen. So this is our full technology. Now what we can see that for the raw materials, particularly polymers and fiber, we were depending on the foreign vendors like Hexcel, DuPont, Victrex, Savik, Huntsman. These are mostly American or European or maybe Japanese companies, and you will be finding that from this procuring raw material for the defense purposes, that every year from India, so for the procurement of these materials for defense, maybe Indian Army, Indian Navy, Indian Air Force, and all other the paramilitary forces, the outflowing of money is around 10 billion per year, which is a huge amount, significant amount is outflowing from India. So in 2016, the government of India has taken the Make in India policy that not only that, then we have thought that we not only have technology within the India, but also the materials should be Indian materials. Then if it happens, then the stop of the outflowing of the money will be stopped. So this we can plan, whichever we have used for the bulletproofing, definitely have a high option for the for this I would say this UAV, which is almost says 95% the composite. So definitely instead of epoxy carbon fiber, it can be peak carbon fiber composite with the wings. So it will be more durable. And as you have seen that there's no storage problem for this peak film, and you can procure from Garda Chemical from Mumbai. They have the strong unit in India itself. And of course, the bulletproof vest, which we have developed. And I saw that the defense people, they are using the high profile bulletproof vest, which is in weight more than 10 to 12 kgs. It is coming down to 4 to 5 kgs. So it's coming to significantly lower. Then whatever you see that for the bunkers in the top, in the terrain, so bunkers are really not very strong. So it's a fragile bunker. So we have to change this one. So then we're giving technology for that one also. Even for the trucks also, I have seen that the trucks require the blast-proof structures. It requires a fireproof structures, and particularly it requires a lighter in weight structures, because in the upper terrain Himalaya, that when there's this the army trucks or the CRPF or the BSF trucks goes, the weight of these trucks are around 15 tons, and there is no road even. Particularly in the desert or in the Himalayan side, there's no road even. So with the composite technology, we can bring it down this weight up to even 5 tons, so 1/3. So that technology should evolve with the Indian materials, that we can bring it down to the weight of the truck from 15 tons to 5 tons with the application of high performance hybrid composite. For the helicopter, same thing also, that we must use the composite there. Then application in the space. Space research and the industry related to space are a larger market for polymeric composite and composites, primarily due to the exceptional strength to weight ratio, in order to spacecraft more lighter, efficient, and cost effective. So as you know, the low Earth orbit is, which is around 150 to 3000 kilometer away, and the GEO, which is called geosynchronous Earth orbit, which is more than 36,000 kilometers from the Earth's surface. And in this condition, it will be absorbing so much of radiation, like gamma radiation. Then I'm just showing this one. That also temperature comes to minus 180 to plus 300. So normal epoxy-based composite will not have the life there. So you have to have the high performance composite for this. And also it will be encountering radiations like neutron, gamma rays, beta particles, bracking radiations. So we should have a particular composite which will not decay or degrade under these radiation conditions. So we have developed the technology, and we have given to ISRO for the trial. Definitely they will be coming out. And before my coming to India, I was working in North America and also Europe. Technology was given to NASA Marshall in US, and also given to European Space Agency, ESTAC in Netherlands. So effect of radiation also, you can see that the planetary space, and this one is really problematic for the structures and the crew members. So how we do the testing? Because we cannot send our material to the space and do the radiation testing. So what we do, we expose that radiation under the nuclear reactor. So this was done with my contract. I'm also visiting professor in Switzerland, so I go there once in a year. So there's a reactor called Leonstrey AG in Danningen, Switzerland. So we put the entire panel of the composite below the nuclear reactor like this, that it flows on that one. And then we measure, after that, we bring it out and we measure that strength, that with the radiation dose, how much it has been decayed. So that is simulation of this one is more than 10 years of radiation in the space. So this is the way we do the testing there. Then what are the requirement for the aviation and the space and the defense? It should have high temperature resistant, low temperature resistant, low outgassing, high mechanical properties, resistant to high energy radiation, resistant under chemical environment, resistant to fire. So if you have a composite which will be really useful for the aviation, space, or defense, these 7 criteria has to be fulfilled. So these 7 criteria are high temperature resistant, low temperature resistant, low outgassing, high mechanical properties, resistant to high energy radiation, resistant under chemical environment, and resistant to fire. So the entire work, of course, I have taken my support because I go as a visiting professor at these universities like TU, Netherlands, Switzerland, South Korea, and India, and Amrita. So everywhere I have the facilities, and with a combined effect, technology has evolved. So storage life of, as you have seen, the epoxy glass fiber, carbon fiber is maximum 6 months. But if you have this polyether ketone or polyether imide, you can have a storage life more than 100 years in the room temperature. So the film form or the fabric form is stacked together. But if you like to use for aviation applications, we need to modify the surface of the polymer and the fiber, because once we modify, then surface energy of the polymer and fiber increases, and consequently there will be stronger surface energy of the polymer and fiber, and as a result, the new chemical groups form on the polymer and the fiber surface, then you will have a stronger adhesion. That means if we really modify the polymer and fiber with atmospheric pressure plasma treatment, you can see that without modification, the strength was hardly 4 megapascal, the lab set tensile strength. But the moment we modified that one, then the interfacial strength increase up to even 18 megas, so almost 4 to 5 times increment. So if we make the composite out of this, after the modification, whatever you observe, then the strength of the composite will be coming to double. And another one, if you compare the epoxy resin, so it is no match. So the full future goes to high temperature thermoplastic resin based composite based on polyether ketone and polyether imide. And also, like if you have a high temperature press, we have to heat it for 400 degrees Celsius, keep it for half an hour, even 15 minutes, and bring it down. So you can even lower the operation cycle, and definitely it will be more, I think, cost effective. And then the decomposition temperature, as you see, the polyether aryl ketone from the Garda Chemical Limited, which I have used for this technology, is 570. The polyether imide comes to 510. Epoxy is maximum up to 350. So full technology depends on GPEC, which is Indian material. And of course, the service temperature for this particular polymer is 270 degrees Celsius, having a very high future. And of course, it is a cost-effective material. Is if you have a powder form and a granule form, compared to the foreign the vendors like Victrex Peak, it will be 1/3 of the costing. Then, as we see in the Air Force applications for the, say, hypersonic aircraft, it can be in the Mach 2.2 or Mach 2.4, where you have a nose tip temperature goes up to even 207 degrees Celsius. So this is the composite, lighter in weight, can be used there also. Then another important technology is that one, the thermostats are non-recyclable. Like I got a number of emails from NL, HAL that know that what they will do, the structures once life is over, even the manufacturing also, when the waste generate, there's no way to recycle that one. However, the thermoplastic composite can be recycled and can make the next product out of it. So the full the scope goes to aviation industries, and therefore I think that LMW and industries which have involved there definitely have a full knowledge on that one. Even the Air Force people also must use the technology, I would say. Then tensiles on the fibers, that why I have taken the carbon fiber for the structural application. Reason behind that, the strength of the fiber is, it matters. So it is coming around 7,000 megapascal for the carbon fiber. And again, for making this particular composite with the high temperature, I would say either press or by the autoclave, you require these bagging materials. Then we stack it in the autoclave in the base this way, and we get an autoclave, and then we get the composite like this. And particularly the important part is that if you have a polyether imide or P carbon fiber composite, it will be almost 1/5 density compared to steel and 1/3 of aluminum. And therefore, if you see the specific strength, it is almost, I think, 5 times higher than steel and 4 times higher than aluminum. Next, I am coming to another very important technology. So every day, I think we get information that some, that blast or bombing, it is happening everywhere. Okay, like I remember in 2019, the Pulwama attack. So there was a huge bombing, and I think more than 40 CRPF Jawan died. So, and therefore, we must have a technology which will have a blast proofing, and with the hybrid composites, a full solution. This is, I'm showing some diagram here. So this particular composite called Chhatrapati Shivaji armor, dedicated to Chhatrapati Shivaji's name, is a bomb blast proof composite developed by us. The outside is that it's a silicon, it's a sintered silicon carbide. Then with the adhesively bonded to the high temperature adhesives with the aluminum honeycomb. Again, it can be peak carbon fiber composite or peak PBO fiber composites. Tested under 50 kg of TNT, then 100 kgs of TNT, even 200 kgs of TNT, and you can see that this is how we test that one. There is a particular law is there. We keep the bomb hardly 5 centimeter above that on these bombing structures. Okay, this is the composite you can see here. We keep the bomb just 5 centimeter above that one, and the bomb happened. Then what happens? The silicon cover, it goes. It will be having several fractures, but the aluminum honeycomb and the entire back layer, which is the peak carbon fiber composite or peak PBO fiber composite, completely remain intact. There's no damage there. So therefore, if we install this particular composite below the army or semi-paramilitary forces vehicle, even if there's a mine blast, nothing will happen to the vehicle. So we'll be going for the field trial very soon, and after that there will be a mass production of technology for the paramilitary force in the army. So this is the entire team work for this particular project. We have 5 PhD scholars. I must put their name. 3 from Indian Navy, Mr. Jitin Joshi, Mr. Avinash Kumbar, and also Mr. His name is another from Mr. Sudhindra from Amrita, Miss Jennifer also from Amrita, and another Indian Army officer also joined for that one. And we also found that that many that defense people are coming forward. And of course, I give my sincere thanks to this particular CRPF facility in Pune. They allow us to do this one. And of course, the technology came very strongly. And as we are planning that it will have multiple applications in Indian Navy also, Indian Air Force also. And the 3 Indian Navy officers, they really worked hard. They're doing the PhD with me and also another 2 PhD scholars. And of course, we are moving forward. Then another important technology is called fireproof technology, how we can develop that one. As you know, that trains, even the buses and the cars also, it goes to the fire. And this particular material, I would say 100% Indian material. The poly, I'm just showing that one. This is a polybenzymetazole fiber, all called ABPBI fiber, and the polyethyl ketone, and also silicon fabric. This particular composite dedicated as a Laxmibai, Laxmibai composite. So there are 3 composites developed: Netaji Subhas armor, Chhatrapati Shivaji armor, and Jhansi Laxmibai armor. So all for the Indian freedom fighters, and we believe that they will have a strong applications for the Indian inhabitants in the upper Himalayas, and particularly for this project also. I must give my sincere thanks to the colleague from the Garda Chemical Limited, like Dr. Trivedi, Mr. Jamin Javeri, Mr. Amit Kundu. They all really worked very hard. The raw materials are from them, and also my 2 PhD scholars in Amrita, Mr. Sudhindra and Miss Jennifer. They really worked hard, and also every week with the Indian Navy officers and this full team, we sit together when we go for the forward. And then the important part is that you know that once we for the application in the Siachen, temperature we have experienced up to even -40. So we have exposed to -44 on that particular polymer, the composite, the fireproof composite. That after 8 hours when we measured on that particular top, it was -29.2. But if you see the other side, which is 14.8, so it is completely thermally insulated material. That you can see that this particular composite, it was exposed to dry ice of -44. The surface of the face is touching to the dry ice after 8 hours, temperature is -30, say. But the other side, which you can see is +14 or +15, you can say. So 14.8. That means if we make a that kind of a housing or habitants in the upper Himalayas for the defense people, like in the extreme climate, particularly in the winter, in Siachen, temperature goes up to -40. This is the perfect material. And also we are planning for a field trial of this one in Siachen itself. So you can see that one, that it will not catch fire, and it's ultra lightweight, even it floats on water also. that we are putting the under Bunsen burner. You can see here in the below, and temperature will be will not go in the below. It goes to 724, but top after even 10 minutes is maximum 48 to 52 degrees Celsius. So it can be a fireproof jacket also. And then you can see here that where we put the fire, it was 723, but the other side is 52.6. So it will also be thermal insulator for the fire case also. And it's having a very high compressive strength that even if you put that one under the compressive load, it can take a load of strength of around 20 megapascal higher than the concrete. And also this we pour in the petrol and we put in the fire. And what happens that petrol will burn. Petrol will burn, but nothing happens to the composite. Even there will be no evolve any kind of carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. So there will be no toxicity with the burning of that one. So this will be another fantastic technology for the Indian Air Force, particularly if I feel for the fighter aircraft, for the interior of the aircraft, even for the commercial aircraft, I would say, and for the Volvo buses for the transport, for the I would say for the housing, for the civil construction also it's very useful for that one, and then for the army definitely, for the navy also, for the naval shipbuilders also. I have given 2 lectures, and there are number of I think I'm just showing 1 minute. Indian in the Navy, I must tell that name, Mr. Shravan Kumar Khuntia, who first took the initiative from the Indian Navy, and then Mr. Jitin Joshi, Mr. Avinash Kumber. It reached to the Indian Navy, and when Mr. Khuntia was in Kochi in NIAT. So after my first lecture, he joined for the PhD, for the blast proof, for the bulletproof altogether. So it's a very strong teamwork. And what we are doing actually, we see the requirement of the tri-forces and the paramilitary forces, and that we're solving in our laboratory. My next slide. I think something, just a moment. Somehow it has been hanged. Just a moment. Yes. Stop. Yeah. Then we did a drop test. Okay, like for the snow or maybe even for the stone. We dropped and nothing happened there. And you see that one, density is 0.7 gram per centimeter cube. It's floating on water. So there will be a very strong application for the Indian Navy, even for the, what I found that one, even for structural applications for Indian Navy also. And particularly a new company has formed with the army veteran in Baroda in Gujarat. The name of the company is Netaji Subhas Advanced Materials Limited. And they're trying to know that making these products for the defense forces. And of course, I'll be any other Indian companies like LMW, if they also come forward, we'll be giving our full support to them. And of course, the main objective is that we should within the next 5 to 10 years, that we should stop outflowing the money from India to these countries. We can make for our own, if we have the raw materials, the entire Indian brain, Indian technology, Indian manufacturer, and Indian end user, because we have a huge market. We have here in India, Indian Navy, Indian Army, Indian Air Force, then BSF, ITBP, Indian Police Forces, and also CRPF. So it's just a huge demand for this one. And consequently, if we have the Indian raw materials completely, and therefore the outflowing will completely stop. Like we have taken the boron carbide, that particular ceramic tile, one company called Bhukhanwala in Mumbai, and the ceramic tiles, another one which is called silicon carbide, that we have taken from one company called Kumi in Hosur, and the silicon foam, again one company in Coimbatore and another one from Pune. So all the materials are Indian materials, and also Gardha Chemicals are coming forward to develop the bulletproof that particular fiber called PBO fiber. They're developing in this particular. They do have the high temperature polymer called polyether ketone. They do have the high temperature fiber called ABPBI, which is completely fireproof. So therefore, make in India to made in the India system. And particularly my last slide, that liberator of India, Jai Hind, that because of this liberator, we are taking the full freedom, and we are surviving in this particular freedom in this country. And now I'll be showing the tested samples to you, and thereafter whatever questions you have, you can ask to me. Yeah, first I am showing this. You can see here, this is the lightweight bulletproof composite, that you can see the 5 bullets fired here, and all the bullets have been formed. The dimension of this plate is 150 by 150, okay, millimeter, and it has stopped all the 5 bullets. And weight of this particular composite is only 300 grams. With the 150 by 150, it is just 300 grams. Then with the hybrid composite, which has stopped the AK-47 bullets, all the bullets have been stopped. You can see here that no back facing, it's a minimum back facing. Then I am showing the hybrid composite. You can see here the outer layer is silicon carbide, then it is a aluminum honeycomb, and the extreme interior is PEEK PBO fiber composite or PEEK carbon fiber composite. Now I am showing you the first one. This one you can see it was a 120 kg of TNT bomb blast. Just imagine, okay? The silicon carbide, the outer layer gone, but the aluminum honeycomb has been distorted, but it has not been broken. And the final one, the inside one, which is the PEEK carbon fiber composite, which was absolutely remain intact. That means if we put this plate below the vehicle of that, with the back facing of this one, with the bomb blasting from here, it will completely absorb the entire blast energy. And then when you have tested under 200 kgs of TNT blast, just imagine a huge bombing, and then again the silicon carbide gone, the aluminum honeycomb like this, it has been having a big hole, but my extreme interior, which is a PEEK PBO fiber composite, completely remain intact. Nothing happened here. So I am showing that particular film. Just a moment to bring that film. And this is the fireproof composite. Also, I am demonstrating this one to you at this moment. So before that, I'm showing this particular polymeric film called polyether ketone. This was procured from Garda Chemical Limited in Mumbai. And I must say that the visionary of that particular company called Dr. K.K. Garda, he came to India in 1963. He got Padma Shri also, and he had a clear vision that the high temperature polymers like polyether ketone, the ABPBA fiber will have a huge future for the country. And then I'm showing you this particular, that fireproofing. Of course, it is just a small demonstration you can hear. See, I'm putting a fire here. Okay, of course, a candle fire. Even if you can go to the gas fire also, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen here. Even if I put the fire for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, nothing will happen. So it is completely thermally insulated, and this particular fiber and the composite is made such a way, even if put in the kerosene or even I would say even petrol, there's nothing will happen. It's absolutely fireproof composite, and will have a very high future for our country. So thank you very much. And now anybody is having any questions, so please you can ask the questions to me.
Dr. Shantanu, before
Yes.
we hand it over to the participants to verbally ask you some questions, probably I'll moderate some questions which the participants have asked here during the webinar by chat.
Yes, fine.
Yeah. There's this Mr. Basaraj asking, why can't we manufacture composite material in India? I'm sure you would want to try and address that.
No, what is this question once again?
Why can't we manufacture composite material in India? I'm sure we do. Maybe you can elaborate.
No, we are manufacturing the composite material in India. Okay, definitely. But the raw material still there. No, we were mainly taking from the outside, and from 2016 onwards that vision has come forward, and now we have stopped taking the raw materials from outside. It's the Indian materials, and we found that that the Indian materials, Indian fiber is much more superior, I would say. Okay. And also definitely there is a mindset by the Indians, and that has to be changed. We feel that if anything comes from the white people like Europe or North America, they're superior. Absolutely not. That mindset has to be changed, that the Indian technology, the Indian brain, or Indian materials are superior to them. So we are manufacturing in India itself. I'm not taking any foreign materials in my any technology.
Right.
Yes, next question.
We'll move on to the next one. I hope that answers Mr. Basaraj's question.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. There's this Mr. Lakshmi Narasimhan who is actually wanting to know what is the percentage of composites currently used in aeroplanes. I'm sure there are. It's a very generic question per se, but yeah, you can.
If you have the commercial aircraft like say Boeing 787 or Airbus 380, it will be 50 to 60%, and if you go to unmanned aerial vehicle, it will be 95%. 95%. Okay. I mean, for the fighter aircraft, it goes to 8 to 90% also.
Okay.
Mr. Bhatnagar, you have any questions? Rachit Bhatnagar, you're from Air Force. If he is here, I believe so.
He's around, probably stepped away, I guess. But okay, nevertheless, we'll move on. We'll come back to him later. I hope that answers Mr. Lakshmi Narasimhan's.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Moving on to the next, there's this question by Mr. Raja Manoharan. Is there any application in the industry sector where trials have been taken or proposed in forming of intricate shapes? Is that something you would want?
Actually, it's a good question. Actually, that forming intricate shape, that the company has been formed to make it, that for the more applications. But if any other company also comes forward, most welcome. Just drop me one email. I'll connect with them.
Yeah, that answers my question, because we are interested in intricate requirements for the industrial application. It would be good to work. It's really the future technology for us also to work on.
Fine. So you're from Coimbatore or from Bangalore?
Yeah, I am from Coimbatore, from KSB.
Okay. From LMW only?
No, I'm from KSB Valves division.
Okay. So I think kindly drop me an email. I'll connect with you.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Moving to the next, Mr. Manikam's question: whether we have manufactured the helmet with the composite for Army Jawans?
Up to certain extent, I'll give the answer. Not fully. It is going on. Okay, like companies like one company from MKU in Kanpur and another one from I think from Faridabad. So they are developing, and the technology which I have developed. Also, first we are forming to the bulletproof vest and for the bulletproof panels, and then we'll be planning for the helmet also. Absolutely. Requirements are heavy. Requirements are heavy. Yes.
Let's move on to the next one. There's this Mr. Parli Amal Rajamani asking, can you share some information on research options in this field? Since it's defense related, do we have any special requirements to be adhered to before selecting the topic as a research area?
See, actually, particularly, that when we work for the defense, like now presently, 1 Indian Army officers and 4 Indian Navy officers are doing PhD with me. So that in-depth knowledge I cannot share to the open forum, but definitely with the requirement of the tri-forces and the requirement of the paramilitary forces, we do the technology and then we are supporting them with our knowledge. It is possible. Yeah.
That answers Mr. Rajamani's question.
Okay.
There's this anonymous question at the moment. What is the starting point to study composite materials and structures as an engineer?
Okay, so then I do not know. I should not ask that to you, Ms. The question is, There are a number of courses for the advanced composite in MTech, BTech, and PhD also. So that should be the beginners. But if you go for the advanced, then I think that in industry or institutes like in Amrita, we have a very strong group, and we'll be supporting them for the training courses also. So we'll be giving that one. And I know that particularly the hybrid composite and also the high performance composite, which is the thermoplastic composite, it's very new to the country. So I'm delivering number of lectures, even the IS server to NAL also. Okay, so it's a new technology. We're giving know-how to everyone. Yeah.
Yes, to the person who had posed that question. Moving to the next question, there's this question by Mr. Murali. How the processing feasibility of thermoplastic composites, is it you see as a compatible as the compatibility of thermoplastic materials is not achieved up to the requirement?
Yeah, actually the processing parameters and the optimization is a very important issue here. Okay, that how we can process that one. And particularly for the, what I would say, for the bulletproofing or blast proofing or for the fireproofing of these three major technology, what I say, where you require more toughness of the resin, there thermoplastic, particularly with the polyether ketone, is the last and first answer. There is no other option for that one. And we have the patent on that because we are the innovator of the technology. So if you have the high impact resistance composite, definitely, particularly these three areas, bulletproofing, blast proofing, and fireproofing, this is the technology. Then there is no other option, in fact.
Sure. I hope that answers Mr. Murali's question.
Yeah.
Moving to the next, there's this question by Miss Anjali, who's wanting to know what about making joints in complex geometry. How would you predict the integrity of the structure while doing the above tests?
Okay, so there are two ways. See, particularly for thermoplastic composite, can be welded also by ultrasonic welding. Otherwise, what do? We do a double lap shear joint. Okay, in the double lap shear joint, then it will be taking the it is a butt and also double lap on the top and bottom, and consequently, the stress distribution will be more uniform, and there will be a much lesser chance to fail from that. But still, the joining part is the weaker part compared to the structures, and that we have to. There's no option also, but the double lap strap joint is the better solution for this joining technology. It's a very good question.
Thank you. I hope that answers Ms. Anjali's question. Moving to the next, Mr. Manikam again wants to know if the truck, truck with composites can be manufactured. What is the lead time as compared to manufacturing a truck with regular material?
Like if you have the steel or aluminum, okay, mostly the trucks, if you see the Ashok Leyland, Tata, whatever, and certainly the composite will having a much lower manufacturing time compared to steel or this one. And as I know that if you have a big press or big autoclave, then you can make the structure in a one day itself. That's the answer.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Moving to the next one, Ms. Anjali wants to know how frequently rather can we recycle thermoplastic composites?
Oh yes, actually thermoplastic composite, that I have another major technology, like whatever like plastic bottles, plastic bags we are using, that we have successfully converted to various useful products like roof tiles, footpath tiles. Fine. But then they say that was I think HDP, PP, PET bottles, all those things. Even for the polyether ketone or polyether imide, once its life is over, the structure is over, you simply disintegrate that one, take that film or that one, your powder, process it again, melt it and process it again. It will be coming to the same form. But with the first 2 or 3 after the operation, there will be lowering of the strength. Correct. So in that case, we need to make a strong interface with the plasma polymerization. That's the answer.
So, Chetan, there is one question coming up in the chat box also. You can have a look.
Yes, I've noted that. Thank
Okay.
you. I'll move on.
You're mute, Chetan.
Yes, please. Thank you. Yeah. So I'll move on to the ones which have been posted in the chat box here too. There's this question by Mr. Samir Mandare from Godrej Aerospace, I believe. Any strategy being put into use wherein these materials are being used in Atmanirbhar project or programs where
Sure.
the industries can come forward and produce products made out of it? Is that something which...
Sure. Actually, I'm also a member of the FICCI. Okay, and there we have a very clear planning that we should have the manufacturing with all the component in India itself. And certainly, if you send your expertise to me, and whatever the facility you have, we can explore that one, and that will be informed to the different organizations and can be made collectively.
I hope that answers Mr. Samir's question.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Answers.
Thank you.
Quite a few, yeah. There's this question by Mr. Sukumar who wants to know, can you share some information about manufacturing of sports goods using composites?
Oh, yes. Actually, for the sports goods, I think we should not go for the high performance polymer. Rather, we should stick with the polyethylene or polypropylene of that one with the glass fiber or carbon fiber. And these days, the hockey sticks, even for the bicycles, okay, even for the boats, the sporting boats are also made by this composite, lightweight composites. And if you see the technology in Europe and North America, in Japan and Korea also, so whatever the sports goods, it's based on the height, is this polymeric composite. This is much lighter weight, having the more tensile and compressive strength, more impact strength, and consequently it has been used in these developed countries. And India also coming forward strongly on this, including China also. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Let's move on to the one question which you can try and address from Professor Paul of MOE University based in Kenya. He wants to know if you have studied the failure mechanisms of armor material under high velocity impact. Is that something you...
Correct, certainly. We actually, it was almost our 4 to 5 years of very intense research. First, we did the FEM analysis, the failure mode, and then came to this solution. It was a very comprehensive research we did since last 4 and 5 years. And in fact, I am expecting that more question from the fireproofing also. Like the fireproofing is a very important technology also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that answers Professor Paul's question or query.
Yeah, from Kenya. Fine. Thank you very much, Professor Paul.
Yeah, thank you. It answers, but I wanted to know exact failure mechanisms that you found in your armor material.
Oh, you want to do that one? There are certain things, maybe personally I can, if you just drop an email, I can share that one to you.
We'll try and attend a couple more. Sorry. Yeah, yes, please.
Okay, yes, I'll share. I'll share my email address.
Please.
Right. Thank you.
Chetan, you're on mute.
sorry. Yeah, thank you. There's this question by Miss Anjali again. What is the manufacturing technology and raw materials for thermoplastic composites?
Okay. Raw materials essentially from Gardha Chemicals Limited, Mumbai. Okay, so I can give their contracts. So they are the raw material manufacturer, and we generally use two kinds of processing. It will be either injection molding component or compressive molding component, but also we can go for the autoclave processing also. All three are possible.
Yeah, hope that answers Miss Anjali's question. Moving to the next, there's this question by Mr. Manikam. He's wanting to know, while doing while machining of composite materials, what are the safety measures that need to be undertaken?
Okay, see, for the machining, particularly for the thermoplastic composite, it's a very highly ductile material. Okay, that even if you see that the stress strain diagram, even if it goes up to more than 300% of the extension, so you don't require that kind of precision machining what you require for the epoxy carbon epoxy glass, because there will be no crack growth here. But still, like we have made different kinds of geometry inside, so that is not a big problem for the machining for the thermoplastic composites, because it's a highly, I would say that absolutely very high level of that crack resistance material.
I hope that answers Mr. Manikam's question.
Yeah.
Moving to the next one, there's this question by Dr. Amalesh Barai. He's wanting to know, or rather post a question about vibration characteristics. Not very sure which material of the composites he's wanting to know the vibration characteristics of.
Could you kindly repeat the question once? It's a big question, I think, very long question.
No, it's a short question for that matter. How about vibration characteristics? Not very sure which material is being referred to, which of the composites. He's wanting to know how about vibration characteristics.
See that. Let me give the answer. Directly, we don't go for the sectable for the vibration. But once, if you know that when there is a bombing, there's a huge vibration, and the entire bombing, the blast energy is absorbed by this composite. So certainly, it will have a very high level of vibration energy absorption. Certainly.
I hope that answers Dr. Amalesh's question.
So because we had gone to the extreme testing with the bomb, under the bomb, up to even 200 kg of TNT blast. There's a huge bombing there. Yeah.
Thank you. Moving on to another one, which is an anonymous question once more. Somebody in the audience wants to know additive manufacturing feasibility of the material.
3D printing has already been done on the peak carbon fiber composite by one company in US, and one of my students, she has her own startup company in Coimbatore itself, and it is possible. Additive manufacturing is very much possible, but with a smaller part. Like if you like to have a big wing or the fuselage with additive manufacturing, and that yet has been developed, but smaller part is already been developed.
Mr. Manikam, actually, or probably for the larger benefit of the audience here, you can
actually somebody has asked that carbon fiber for the bulletproof is yes, not. Carbon fiber is not practical for the bulletproofing, but therefore we have used the PBO fiber there. It's different fiber, not carbon fiber. The carbon fiber we have used for the blast proofing for the extreme interior and for the structural applications. For the bulletproofing, it was a polyether ketone with the PBO fiber composites.
Dr. Shantanu, probably for the benefit of the larger audience here, would you be in a position to share your contact details There
Sure.
are a few who are wanting to get in touch with you about certain questions and any other future interaction.
Like Dr. Balamurugan has my email, and so kindly share my email to them. Okay, and
Yes, sir.
whatever
Yes,
the
sir.
questions they have, the queries, so kindly share that one. Okay, so
Sure.
they're most welcome. So we
Yeah.
should dissipate the knowledge across the country so that our country become a developed country.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Thank you. Moving on to the next
And
one.
also, no, that first thing, another thing, let me tell this one. The patriotism matters very much for any work. Okay, the moment we are nationalistic and more patriot, we can do more for the country. I think Mr. Bhatnagar will be agreeing with my point.
Yeah, I fully endorse your point, Dr. Shantanu, and I've
Yeah.
seen your photographs. Also, I was in between in another meeting also going on parallelly. So maybe there were a few questions which I couldn't answer maybe. But I think we can always take on those questions through email and answer them. And now maybe I think you can take a call. You can take more questions through email instead of continuing our
Correct.
You can take a call, please.
Yeah. So anyone has any questions?
Well, there are a couple more. What we'll probably try and do that is share your and Wing Commander Rachit Bhatnagar's email ID to the participants here,
Fine.
Those can be addressed by you again.
Thank you.
More.
Thank you
and
much.
If there are any more, they can certainly write to the concerned here.
Okay. So Namasivaya, Jai Hind.
So in the concluding remarks, I'm very grateful to Dr. Balamurugan and Dr. Shantanu for associating with us, and I'm very sure patriotism will be there, and to make India a developed country, in every aspect. Composites will play a very great role in every aspect of defense manufacturing and also the aerospace and aviation ecosystem. With this, I'm very hopeful to have a long and fruitful association. And I'm very sure we'll be doing India great good by skilling the manpower, the participants in every aspect of your institute, GKD ITR. Thank you so much. Namaste, Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Before we wind up, I would like to propose the vote of thanks here. I would like to thank all the participants for sparing their time out and attending and being a part of this webinar, which I'm sure they would have found useful and very informative. Thank you once again. I would also like to thank the panelists here for sharing their views and notes and answering a few queries here. Lastly, but not the least, I would like to thank GKD ITR, in particular, Dr. Balamurugan, and the trustee of GKD ITR, Dr. Lalita Devi Sanjay Jayavardhanu for the association. And we look forward to having many more such webinars, which I'm sure the community, aerospace and the related community will find it useful. Thank you once again. And good day.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Chetan, sir. Thank you so much.